Welcome to this thing called life.
Yo. What's going on, Michael?
What up?
How's it been?
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah, good. So,
Can I chime in now? Hello?
What up, Mark? Mark jumps in early.
everybody,
sorry,
welcome
I'm
our
immature.
special guest, all the way from Ireland, Mark
What's up,
Gaye.
guys? What's up?
Ireland it is, huh? What's up, Mark? What's up, Dave? How's everyone right now? What time is it over at your place?
Okay, you talking to me or you talking to Dave?
Both of you, man.
Okay. In my place, it is 3:38 p.m.
That's what. Yeah, I asked you on purpose. Is the one to hear you say the word tree.
Yeah, I know you did. I knew it was going there. That's why I stopped after. Like, that sucker's after getting me.
And is that
What's
on
up,
a
Dave?
Sunday, right?
Yes.
Wow, so you're like
Yeah,
in the
it's Sunday.
future, man. That's pretty neat, right? You're living in the future right now. For me, it's only 10:30 on a Sunday morning.
Yeah. Who wins the All-Star game? It's dumb. All right.
Oh, that's
You're gonna
terrible.
make my joke worse.
Yeah. It's building.
This is the worst intro to any podcast I've ever heard. Anyway, guys, look,
That's good.
here's what's going to happen today. On tap, we have my man from Ireland, Mark Gaye, who's really well known in the barber industry and super genius dude, super smart, owns multiple businesses and just dropped his own product. Man, it's great to have him on. We are going to tackle some, tough questions for him. And then we're going to talk about criticisms and insecurities to finish up the podcast today. But before we do any of this, Dave,
Yes,
I have
Michael.
a dad joke for you.
Oh, just for me?
It's for everyone, but I know you love dad jokes, bro. This one's for you, okay?
I'm here. I'm ready and willing. Let's go.
All right, guys. To break the ice, the circle is just the most ridiculous shape in the world. There's absolutely no point to it.
That's a good one.
It just landed.
It's
Just landed. Wow.
Yeah, you're welcome.
nailed it.
You're welcome, guys.
There
You know, I know there's been some bad jokes I've heard from you, Mike, but that's up there that's in the top 5.
Listen, there was one time we were in Seattle, Dave, and we were joking. We were using the word Phil because we have a friend named Phil.
Oh, God.
And I didn't let it go, but I kept joking about the name Phil, and I used Phil in different words like filibuster, fill up the tank, all these things. And I think I went for about an hour, 2 hours, and Mark was just like dead. He was just like, "What the hell?" Like, I wouldn't let it go.
You wouldn't let it go. And at the start, I was like, I'm digging this. The start, it was okay. And then Phil joined in, and I was like, okay, it's going to run out of steam very soon. And then we got onto like a ferry to bring us from one side of Seattle to the other. And it was like, I was like, okay, I can get you
more.
a ferry trip if we get off the far side and the conversation changes away from this whole thing. But we got off, and apparently I didn't know. I was the only person that didn't know about this whole ferry trip. We only got on the ferry to go on the ferry, only to go back.
Only go back.
Came from, yeah. So we landed and went back straight away.
Oh,
And
jeez.
I ended up lying down on a couch like this. Just, I was,
Covered his ears.
please stop.
That's awesome.
No, it wasn't, Dave. No, it wasn't.
I loved it.
Ugh.
So what's up, Dave? What's going on over at your house? How's dad life treating you?
It's good. Had a little party last night. My sister came up from out of town. My sister and her family were up here to see us. First time she got to meet the 5-month-old now. He just turned 5 months a couple days ago.
Oh, congrats, bro.
Thank you. And so they were up here and had some people over last night. And now it's, the dust settled. And here we are doing the podcast on a Sunday morning.
Awesome, man.
Early on
All
a
right,
Sunday
guys.
morning. Sorry.
All right, guys. So, Mark, let's go ahead and intro yourself, bro. Mark Gaye, my man. Tell them a little bit about your background, who you are, what you do.
Okay. You're just gonna dump it on me like that?
Yeah, man. Like you're from Ireland. That's all we know right now. What else
Yeah.
do we need to know? Tell us the need to knows about you.
Okay. The need to knows is I'm 25 years of age. I've been cutting hair about starting when I was 15. I've gone here about 10 years now. Wow. 10 years.
Oh.
That's the first time I actually sat down and counted. It's about 10 years. Yeah. I've gone here about 10 years. I own a couple of barber shops over here. I own a barber academy, 2 barber academies. I'm just about to open a coffee shop inside my barber shop. I've probably one of the biggest barber shops in Ireland. It's not as in the biggest branded barber shop. Our brand is quite strong. But as in regards to size, scale, the shop is absolutely huge. It's crazy big. So I find I'm just trying to put as much stuff into that as possible to fill up the space because I have the space. So yeah, I suppose entrepreneur in that respect. I like to set up businesses, run them out, and see how fast we can scale them up and build them up within predictable forecasts. That's what I like doing. I like business. Awesome. I like. I'm very strong on social media. I'm very adamant that about the uses of social media and how to actually portray yourself on social media. I like it all. I think they all go together, and I think it's a thing that's misunderstood. But I think that if you sit down with me for long enough, I think you'll understand that straight away. And I think that's something that we've talked about on multiple occasions, both on a business scale and on social media scale. But that's pretty much all I do. I don't really do much other things, and I think that's me.
Yeah, you do a lot though. For those of you who don't know, Mark, he's always busy 24/7. When the sun is up, he's already up. I mean, he's a coffee drinking, business minded, very talented barber, which is rare because a lot of times you meet artists that aren't great at business, or you meet businessmen who don't know shit about art. But Mark is very well rounded on both aspects, which is very difficult to do in this world. But like you said, social media definitely helps. Now, we travel the world. We've been to different countries together. Bro, what's the biggest difference do you find between Ireland or even the UK or some of the countries in the UK and the United States? What do you think the major jump is? Like, what do you think of America versus, the UK or Ireland? What's a big difference?
Well, I've never actually had a question like that, so to speak. Are you talking like in general, like everything, way of life, everything? Okay. I think the main thing is actually the way of life. So I think you can categorize it that Ireland is behind the UK and UK would be behind the US. We cross over in some areas, but I think Ireland's behind a lot of things. We're definitely not behind in drinking. We're very good at drinking. I think that's what we've become so well known for that. And Mike, you've been here before. Dave, I don't know if you've been here before. Like we're so good at drinking, it's scary.
I was actually wanting to ask you later on, but I'll just bring it up right now because you just said this, and then we'll get back to Mike's point there. But what's your favorite beer?
Oh, do you know what? I'm a Guinness drinker.
Of course, it's gotta be.
I'm a Guinness, right? But the thing is with Guinness, and everyone says it, or everyone asks the question anyway, is the Guinness better in Ireland? It is so much better in Ireland. There's a certain way Guinness has to be poured. There's a certain distance that has to be from the tap. Like we had Guinness me and Mike were in Vegas before, and we were sitting down, and like, of course, 2 kind of Irish guys sitting together in Vegas in a bar. We're going to drink something Irish. We got Guinness, and it was served in a small glass, and I was just like, I was wrong. I seen the guy pour it in one pour, and I was like, He served me up was like a cold glass of coffee, and I just looked at it like, We tasted it, and I was like, Mike, we need to go back home.
Yes, dude.
I think Mike already informed me on that actually back in like episode 2. He said
it's like cream over here. It's really creamy.
I know, that sounds so good. But
yeah,
I'm sorry. But to get back to Mike's question there.
Back to Mike's question. I think there's a lot of differences when it comes to the way of life across the board. I think in Ireland there's not many things to do in respect over here, and I think that's one of the main reasons that I've just sunk myself into my business, my social media, and grown my profile. In respect of the US and the UK, I think there's a lot more distractions that you can readily do. Like there's not over here, we haven't really got a national sport that we're good at that happens frequently, if that makes sense. Like our main thing, I don't know if you've ever heard of the sport. It's called rugby. It's a no padded version of NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's our main sport, and we're also good at like MMA.
Obviously, you got Conor McGregor, right? Like that's
Fuck the Mayweathers.
But see, the thing is with Conor obviously competes like in the UFC, which is in the USA, And because he's the main attraction, they're not going to run him out like 8 to 9 hours behind or ahead on our timeline. So it wouldn't make sense commercially for that.
Right.
And then with the likes of our rugby games, the national rugby games, they only take place like in a certain time period, like maybe 2-3 months of the year, and that's it. So it's split up among amateur sports. Then after that, we have our own sports called GAA, which is the Gaelic, which is our native language, to Gaelic football, Gaelic hurling.
Mm-hmm.
But that's pretty much it. And it's something that I used to be really interested in, but not so much anymore. So that's how I find myself really sinking myself into the business side of things. In the UK, there's a lot more. You have a lot of Premier League football. You have Arsenal, you have Manchester United, these huge clubs. And every kind of major town has a football club, which obviously gets a lot of hype from the local community. There's a lot of stuff to do in the UK. The US, I think it's just a free-for-all. You can do whatever you want, whenever you want. I think I'm blown away, but I'm in love with the USA. I love the place. Mike knows that. Now you know it, Dave, and all the podcast listeners, you also know it too. Yeah, I love the USA. I do. I think the main difference as a whole comes down to mentality. I think the Irish mentality, we like going out and have a good time. We live for the weekends a lot more. I think than the people from the likes of the USA or the UK as well. But I think every time I've been in the USA, I've always met like people that are very driven, that are either setting up a business or they're in the middle of doing something. Or start we taught a class. My first ever time in the USA, and we're in New York in Zach Ramsey's barbershop, and there was 6 guys into model for us, and I never met the guys before. Zach had just brought them in for his Instagram. He put them out, so he hadn't really met the guys before either. And I was just saying to Zach, like, what's the people like around here? What are they going to be like when they come in? And he was like, whatever, like, I don't know them either, so your guess is as good as mine. All 5 to 6 guys that came in were in the process of starting up their own business, between clothing brand to there were one guy who was doing copywriting online. It was just a different mentality. I think that's the main thing that I've gathered from being across the pond.
Right.
That's awesome, bro. It's crazy because in some ways, yeah, maybe you're behind UK in some ways, but in other ways, I think when in my travels to the UK and Ireland, I feel like, man, some of the stuff you guys have is ahead actually, because, bro, just simply put the coffee at the gas stations in Ireland, it's fucking great.
It's not I know this is coming up.
I had to, bro. We talk about Guinness and coffee at the gas. Bro, the food is so much better in the UK and Ireland. It's more fresh. But anyway, the coffee, bro, when you go into a gas station, that coffee is like, it's made from a machine, but I swear it tastes like it came out of like a real coffee shop. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
We need that in the States, like bad.
Yeah, I think where the food over here, yeah, it is really good. Like, you get really hearty food because there's so much green around. Ireland, green country, Emerald Isle. The steak is amazing. You get really good steak here. The Italian food is really good. The coffee's really good. But I find like there's not as much variation as what you get in the USA or what you get in the UK. I think that's more rural. If you go into cities, of course, like the likes of Dublin or Galway or Cork City, which are our main cities, you're of course going to get a lot of variation. But once you go more rural, be that 40 minutes outside the city, you're not going to get that. You're going to get a choice of Italian food, or Chinese food.
Nice.
And Italian food.
Nice. Mostly Italian. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's New York as well. Well, not really, but I mean, you get tons of Italian in New York as well.
Mm-hmm.
But,
so, have you got any Asian street food places?
Asian street food?
Asian street food.
Street food. I'm not understanding what exactly. What do you mean?
We have a hibachi place. Is that Asian? Is hibachi Asian?
Yeah.
Hibachi be Asian. Yeah, that's like where the chef comes and cooks in front of you, right?
Yes, and they do tricks with the egg and flip the spatulas around, and
That's my favorite thing about the USA.
Yeah, we have.
That's it. Not even like the food itself. Just when he does the thing with the sake, and he's like, that's it.
Yeah. I'm gonna take you to the spot.
Let me tell you something, right? Every time my wife and I go there to our hibachi place here in town, and the chef always squirts the sake, out of the bottle thing, like into your mouth, and then like he'll be like sake, and he'll just keep squirting it. And me, I don't know where I developed this, but you can just open your mouth and you just continue swallowing without closing your mouth. So he'll literally do the whole bottle, and like my wife warns him and is like, "Listen, he'll drink the whole bottle on you. Like, are you sure you want to do this?" Like, yeah, sake, and he keeps squirting it into my mouth, and I'm just like, just like down in like the whole bottle. I don't know what skill that is, but I've developed it. I think I don't know.
I don't even want to know how you developed that skill, bro.
I don't want to know.
I don't think it's for this podcast anyway. That's a private conversation.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God, bro.
Ugh.
So, Mark, what other question? Dave, did you have a question for him?
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, have you noticed just traveling the world? I guess this could go for Mike too, but because you actually live in a different country, I guess it's more directed towards you because you see it more often. But is there different styles? Like, do you see different hairstyles? Like, do you see the style of, like, people in the UK, people in Ireland that was like you wouldn't see someone actually get that here in the US? You know what I'm saying? Is there like different styles that like go along with that?
It's not just like it's funny because you see that in every small like state or town you go to as well. Like I notice like where I am right here, I'm like right in the middle of Ireland, like in the very center point of Ireland. If I was to go maybe a year ago, 2 years ago, and drive 20 miles, 30 miles one way, like the style would be completely different. The hairstyle would be completely different, which is crazy for such a small country.
Right.
But I noticed when you step outside of the pond and go to the likes of Holland, you go to like Scandinavia, all those countries, they're a lot more old school in their style of haircuts, but also just the way they dress. I think when you go to Russia, we've been to Russia together, Mike. Russia's a sick place. Just first of all, I'm just saying that Russia is a sick place. I love Russia. I really love Russia. There's a more of a, like I don't know, maybe it's because of like the past with communism, the way like everything was the same. I think now there's this whole like thing of like everyone's acting out and they want to be seen, and there's a completely different style going on. Every different person seems to have their own personal niche, if that makes sense. I don't even know how to describe it, but maybe Mike, you can say something.
Yeah, that's very American. I feel like the influences from America are finally seeping into Russia. Russia is, like you said, it was very strict, and all of a sudden now you see a lot more independence from, and it looks like the younger generation to me. I don't know, I don't know if you felt that, bro, but when we were over there, I felt like the younger generation embraced us, and obviously thought we were celebrities, which was hilarious to me because we're just on Instagram, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was like MRK.
Hey, MRK, picture you.
Picture from me. I'm like, all right, fine. But the older generations kind of looked at us like, look at these fuckers, like fucking douches.
Thinks he's a rapper.
These fucking DJs walking around here looking like DJs and shit.
That's exactly what happened. I remember actually the second last time I was in Russia, and I brought my mentor for business, Dean. I brought him with me because I was trying to tell him. He was like, "Well, how comes you're in all these countries?" He couldn't understand that I'm a barber and I'm being invited to go to these different countries to go and cut hair on stages and do the stuff that we do. And I was like, why don't you just come with us? Like, because like he's his business set up that he doesn't really need to be there anymore inside his business, so he can travel, and he's a laptop entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. So he can step outside his business and just travel. So he came with me, and he couldn't believe it. He was like, why are these people coming up and, like, how do they know about you? And, how does it all work? And I told him the whole thing, but he still kind of thought that I had met all these people before and they knew who I was. And I remember we stayed on for an extra day or two after the show that we'd done. And we were in the airport getting ready to board. And there was these four guys come running up, and they're like, they pushed one guy over, and he was like, man, Notorious, picture, Notorious picture. And Dean was like, he goes, Mark, I think them guys know you. And I was like, I never met them before. And he's like, how the fuck did they know you? Like, what's going on here? So it's crazy. It's weird. It's a good weird, but it's crazy, isn't it?
So let me ask you, Mark, who are some of your main influences when it comes to barbering?
I think influences and inspirations is a word that's thrown out very easily. I think that it's something that's I just seen it. Okay, for anyone who, obviously this is going to be a podcast, it's going to be a voice cast going out. Mike is clearly pointing at himself. Back to it. I think there's just the whole inspiration thing is thrown out very easily. I think that, you know, inspirations can be found in a lot of places, but there's very few people that can actually really inspire you to motivate you to be better than, you know, the person that you are. And I think any inspiration should be someone that can inspire you to be not just better tomorrow, but be better for the long term, for the longevity of it. And I think they're the people that are hard to find. You can't find inspiration in everyday life. You can't find inspiration from your father by bringing you up to watch it, but you can find inspiration from certain hairdressers, from music, from whatever it is. I think directly to the barber industry, obviously Mike is one of my main inspirations for the type of barbering that I've adapted to recently. Because when I was growing up learning how to cut hair, I'm a self-taught barber. There was no education seminars. There was no events like me and Mike actually go to teach. There was none of that. So all I had was barbers on YouTube. And the only barbers that are putting stuff up on YouTube were the US barbers. So that's how I found out about the types of enhancement and design work that the guys were doing. And then I remember when I first went on Instagram, one of the first people I actually ended up following was Mike. I followed Mike when he's on 9,000, 10,000 followers. And I've been following the guy ever since. So that's someone I've always looked at being, this is someone that I would really like to adapt their style of design work, because I'm a creative person as well. And I liked the way Mike was just clean, crisp, doing these sharp lines. He's able to put someone's face in the back of their head. And it was something that I idolized in that respect. And then when I got to know him, of course, we clicked. It was actually in Russia. I don't know how this conversation keeps coming back to fucking Russia, but it does. But we just clicked in Russia. I think we're the only two guys that had that same dark humor, that were cracking the same jokes that no one was listening to.
The sarcasm was stupid
It
on
was
stage.
crazy.
Oh man, I had a great time. Russia was great. Russia connected a lot of people, a lot of barbers, a lot of business went down after Russia, which is great. And thank you, man. And my influence, as Mark was saying, it goes both ways. Mark taught me basically, I don't know if he directly figured I would learn, but after teaching 6 classes in 4 days across the whole fucking island of Ireland, I happened to pick up a little bit, you know what I mean, from Mark teaching. He's a phenomenal teacher. So the influences go all the way around. But man, Mark, there's so many influencers that we could talk about all day, which actually bring me to my next question.
I'm just going to dip back before we go off that topic. I could list off a hell of a lot of influencers here. There is a lot of people, and I'm not going to start naming names because I don't want people to come off at the end of this being like, "How comes Mark didn't name me?" Because you know what, there is, and I could say Josh and Monica, and I could say Zach Rams, and I could say like all these amazing barbers that are out there at the moment are absolutely killing it. But I find that if you can find motivation, if you can find inspiration, from the smaller things that actually you surround yourself, which is your circle that you surround yourself, I think that is the best thing, a constant flow of inspiration. I have some guys that I work with in my own barbershop, and it's crazy to think, and they've probably never heard me say it, but they're a massive inspiration to me because they're products of my education. And, like you said, it's cool that I know that you have picked some stuff off me, and that's an inspiration to me as well. And, there's lots of stuff you can be inspired by, not just the barber community. You can be inspired by a hell of a lot of things, business, everything.
Awesome, man. So talking about influence and influencers, what is it like being on social media, so active as you are, and you're a student of all types of things, man? What advice could you give, say, young up-and-coming Instagrammers, not even just barbers, just Instagrammers in general, because you have a lot of knowledge on Instagram, man. You actually put me up on game of some things recently, which I haven't told anyone because they're going to have to fucking figure it out. But
sorry, Dave.
Sorry, Dave. We're not letting you know anything, man. We're keeping you in the dark, bro. But what's your advice, because you have so much knowledge of Instagram, to the young up and coming IGers or Facebookers that Twitterers, tweeters?
Yeah.
What advice do you have, man?
Excuse me. Thanks for the introduction on that. I didn't know I had as much knowledge as you said I do, but
you have more knowledge than I do, man.
For sure. Okay. I think it's a fairly broad question, and I think I can go into it a lot of different ways. But I think to really advise someone on how to really get going, how to build their following, how to not get sucked into a lot of what they see, the blasé that you can actually see on Instagram, on Facebook. I think if you can break Facebook and Instagram down, because a lot of people actually before they actually starting social media, before they actually do set their plan on what they want to achieve on social media, they sometimes decide that, I'm just going to focus on Instagram. But you can't just focus on Instagram because you need Facebook. And I remember maybe 2 years ago, I was talking to this guy who he had a hell of a lot of followers, I think like 300,000 followers. And he was asked, I got talking, he was like, yo, what products are you doing? What are you doing on your Instagram? Everything like that. I was doing a thing with him. I was doing some marketing advice and digital marketing for him. And I was kind of trying to scale it because I couldn't see any physical products or anything he was doing on his Instagram. Although he had all these followers, all these likes, all this engagement. I was like, what's his game here? What's his ultimate goal? Because I could see from this person that he was putting a lot of time and energy into running his social media. And a lot of people do that. It becomes like a part-time job. And when I actually sat down and got to the bones of what he was trying to achieve, he just wanted the likes and he just wanted to follow him. And that just blew me away, to be honest, because for me, that's a part-time job that doesn't, it's not shallow. I think it's looking for social approval that doesn't pay you, I think that's shouting and shouting and shouting and hoping to be heard. And then, you're never going to get the reaction that you're looking for, because enough likes and enough, what is enough likes? What is enough engagement? So don't get sucked into that. I think if you're going to put your time and your energy into anything, be that a sport, be that a business, be that your job or whatever you're doing, learning, doing a hobby, you should put it in a way that there actually is a result you're looking for. Don't go in blind into anything. And I think that's where a lot of people make the mistake. And they just think that the focus on Instagram. Facebook and Instagram are Facebook owns Instagram, and Facebook is pretty much buying up every social media that's out there. So I think it's important for everyone to understand how to work Facebook and Instagram together to its full potential. And that's, I think, where our conversation went last time on the phone call, because Facebook does own all of them. And if you follow what Facebook is doing, because it's that bit further ahead of Instagram. I know Instagram's more attractive to look at from a user experience point of view, because it's pictures and where the brain loves geometry, loves colors, loves everything like that. Facebook's a bit more flat compared to Instagram. But, I think Facebook or Instagram is going to mimic a lot of things that Facebook has done already. And that's what you're going to see crossover now. And I think if you want to be successful on Instagram, you have to also be successful on Facebook. So don't just leave your Facebook hanging, because the both of them work in unison. And if you want to grow your following, you're going to need Facebook. Mm-hmm. If you want to monetize your following, you're definitely going to need Facebook. Mm-hmm. Because once you get into growing your following, you start amassing the following, you start amassing the fan base, and that's essentially what you're building, is a fan base. You don't need to have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers to have a business startup on Instagram or Facebook. You just need a loyal fan base of 100 people to 150 people that are that invested in you that they will buy your product, or they will buy you as a service, they will buy you to counsel them, or to be a guest speaker. And that's essentially what we are, Mike. We're guest speakers or guest educators when you go away. And I think a lot of people they want all of this, but they don't understand how to get there. But they just start throwing, just throwing things out there to see what's happening. You need a plan. You need a game plan, and before you action it. And once you have a game plan, you know where you're going. It's like being a delivery guy with delivering pizzas, and you're just saying, "Hey, deliver this pizza to this house," and you've no sat nav, or you don't have what do you call it? It's not sat nav. It's GPS. GPS. Yeah. You got a GPS.
Dave is actually a UPS driver, so he has to have a game plan every day. I'm pretty sure, right, bro?
There you go.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
If UPS just throw you boxes, Dave, and say, "Hey, go deliver to these guys," and you don't know
where I'm going.
You don't know where you're going. You're gonna be the whole day looking for the first delivery. So it's the same thing with social media.
What do you think the future of social media and business, where do you think it's going to go between the future of social media and business?
Dave, you're getting so deep in me, man. I wasn't expecting you to go there that deep. God. So the future of social media and business. Honestly, I think if a lot of people don't know about this, but you will see a thing called F-commerce. I think what we're very accustomed to at the moment is the word e-commerce or e-com, right? I'm sure UPS have an e-com team.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I think what you're going to see right now, which if you look at the Facebook system of what it is, you're going to see F-commerce. Okay. To begin to now put, you can sell your cars, you can sell your equipment, there's a marketplace. You have everything you need basically for Facebook to be a way more advanced version of Google, right? So I think with Facebook owning Instagram and owning WhatsApp and owning all these platforms, I think you're going to see that happening. I think you're going to see, people begin to spend a lot more time on their platforms, because that's obviously what Facebook wants. I think you're going to see AI pop into a lot more as well. I think if we can't look at AI right now, like a lot of large scale, massive companies like Target, Walmart, all them companies already that use ad platforms like on Facebook and Instagram, or the ads manager platform on Facebook, they're already being provided with AI technology to generate ads that a digital marketer would do. So, when you're programming a computer to spot, the exact client that you're looking for a business, I think you're going to see a lot more target specific ads going out. You're going to see a lot more ideal clients being collected.
Do you think that that's going to be an infringement on privacy at some point? Because it already feels that way sometimes when you're talking about, I have a sore back. All of a sudden it's like Tiger Balm ad on your fucking Facebook. Like, how the fuck did they know that shit? Don't you think it's getting a little crazy? Like, how face could this advertisement be?
I think, we asked for it. We asked for all this. That's one way of looking at it. We do ask for all this. We ask for all these advancements to happen, and then when they happen, it's like, whoa, that's too much. That's what kind of what happens. And I think we're going to see that with AI as well. I don't want to get into a whole topic about AI, artificial intelligence. That could be something we could talk about the whole day long.
Oh yeah.
But I think privacy is dead. And Facebook has come out, privacy is dead. Like, we're on every social media platform. We want to be seen. You want people to know what's going on. We're tweeting. You're putting up stories on your Snapchat, on your Instagram. There's more and more outlets becoming available on all these social media platforms. And we, as users and consumers of these products, we use them all to its full potential. So privacy is gone. We've opened that door, and now it's never going to be closed again. I think Facebook marketing is going to be getting more advanced. Instagram marketing is going to be getting more advanced. And as that happens, there's obviously going to be a rollout of tested materials, pieces that are going to be coming into the whole system. And, how do you test that? They're going to be rolled out into sectors that, it's going to be a raw piece of new material. We roll out into advertising, and it could be tested, and you might even know that's happening. But all of a sudden you're seeing these new developments, and it's tested, and then it's into the widespread. And then normally what happens after that, there's release of, did you know that this product was tested in your area? Did you notice this in your Facebook? Did you notice this in your Instagram? And that's what happens.
Yeah, I think
it's like what Nike does as well.
Absolutely. I think the consumer now is actually becoming sharper and more knowledgeable than we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Even in my business of cutting hair, I know you've seen this, but just knowing the names of haircuts now and knowing different barbers around the world, like, that's never been done before. So there's becoming there's a huge influx of information that we have now as consumers, that we make very notified decisions, where before it was just like, that looks cool, I'm going to buy it. But they don't know shit about it. It was just in their face. So they bought. But now it's highly intelligent consumers are buying specifically. Like, it's crazy how that happens. And I don't know if we can get any more informed, but it feels like it's good and bad, because I think some businesses are going to pretty much flop because of that, because they're going to get lazy and think the consumer's stupid. But the consumers are getting smarter. So we have to create quality product and be intelligent about how we do it, because the future, I think, is going to kind of cut some of the shit out.
Mm-hmm.
But
just on that topic, actually, I think that's because Ireland's so far behind in regards of, Amazon's such a big thing in the USA, right?
Yeah.
Amazon there's more people, I think, affiliated or have signed up to Amazon Prime than there is affiliations to set religions, across the USA, which is a crazy figure. Dave, you drive a UPS, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
You've seen your fair share of Amazon stuff every day.
Probably like 60, I would say probably about 60% of the truck is Amazon from Amazon packages. Other would be like LL Bean. LL Bean's a big one. I don't know if you have that over there in Ireland.
No.
Okay. Another one, like the Home Shopping Network TV, those type of faces too. But yeah, Amazon's definitely a big one.
Well, over here we don't have that yet.
Right.
We have Amazon. We do have Amazon, but we order through Amazon UK, and I'm not getting political, but there's a thing happening right now, which a lot of people are aware of, called the Brexit. It's the British exit from European Union. And basically a lot of our stuff that we get from Amazon comes from the UK. So now there's going to be a split off point where is there going to be an Amazon.ie, which the Irish browser, and there's the UK. But if I go to order anything online, be that from the UK or from Amazon or from the USA on Amazon, it's actually very hard to find a product that will ship to Ireland. So I'd say there's maybe, I don't know, 5%, 10% of the population maximum that can actually buy stuff off Amazon here, compares to the USA, which, it's over 55% of the population use Amazon.
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's crazy. So I think that with a lot of that smart marketing, I think you're going to see, like, as we talked about, the invasive marketing is going to be happening, stuff like that. I think you're going to see these companies rolling out a lot of stuff in Ireland because they have such a smaller caption.
Right.
Of the, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So when we were talking about social media too before, with between Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and all that, how do we handle the criticism? Like, you got to be criticized, right? Like, I'm sure there's haters out there, all of that, and how can we handle that criticism?
Okay, is that going to me or Mike?
That's for everyone.
Okay.
Whoever has input.
Mike, I'm gonna let you hit that.
I'll take this one so you can get a coffee break. Hit that vape right quick. Vape life, baby. Criticisms. Criticizing his vape. No, I'm just kidding. Criticism's crazy because I find that when you're on social media, I don't think most people have your best interests at heart. You have your followers that are fans of your work, but when you get criticized, I want to say like 9 out of 10 times, it's from a place and perspective. Either they are just trying to either bring you down, cast some passive aggressive shade, or they just want to get a reaction out of you because you have followers and they don't, and they think that you're something that is special and really you're just a regular person. So they're just trying to get a little reaction out of you. So 9 out of 10 times it's that. I've only been corrected, and I'm actually going to give a barber a shout out right now. I've only been corrected one time by a barber properly, the right way, and it's by Stagel31. Sophie, I love you. You're the best. She's an amazing barber from LA, but she corrected me on a situation where I had posted something that was kind of actually political, and I didn't realize it because I guess I was just in my feels in the moment. And I made an emotional decision to make a post, and it was an inappropriate post for my brand, an inappropriate post for who I was and what I stand for, and it was outside of my pocket. So she had messaged me and said, "Look, that's not really what you're about. I know that. Like, you don't need to be posting something like that. Like, that's not really going to help anyone. That's not a positive post. It's not going to bring anyone to any positivity." And so I took it down immediately, and I actually was like, dang. And the way she came at me was like the right way. So when you're coming from a place where you actually care about someone and you're genuinely approaching it the right way, criticism is fine with me, and I think it's great. But I think when people use the word criticism to throw shade, most of the time, that's just my experience. I don't know about you guys.
That's actually so true. Like, that's a really, really good answer. How am I going to follow up with that? That's really good. I think you're right, bro. Do you know what it is? I think it takes a lot of energy to go your way to be negative to someone. I'm a really, really positive thinker, and I know you are too, Mike. Dave, I don't know you that well. This is our first time meeting, so I don't know what way you talk, but the way I've listened to some of your podcasts and I've listened to the way you've handled yourself today, and you seem like a really positive guy. And if Mike's dealing with you must be. But I think it takes a lot more energy to be negative to someone and to go out of your way to really vindictively, make a comment or pass a comment on someone in that way. But if you're on social media, you are putting yourself up and open to criticism, and that's something you have to take the good with the bad. You can't honestly expect to put yourself out there like that, expose yourself and ask questions of what do you think of this, and expect to get nothing but nice rosy comments. It's not going to be like that. So there is very few people that actually know how to verbalize or put themselves across the right way. Like you're lucky that Sophie came across like that. She could have been like everyone else, but she chose not to act emotionally. She chose to take you from what she knows of you. But we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. Not everyone knows of Mike. You've like 90,000 followers, so they're not all going to have an emotional connection or a connection to you in any way to know that this is the way I should talk to this person, or this is the way he likes to be talked to, because but you put yourself out there. I think there's a lot of negatives out there. There's a lot more negatives than positives, that's the horrible thing. I think people can be led and said by the negatives instead of reaching more towards the positives. But that's something that I see a lot over here. A lot of negative, I suppose, mind frames or perspectives. You see a lot of people being like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Why are you on a podcast, these guys? Who do you think you are going to these different countries? I'm posting pictures about, you're not a rock star, you're not a rapper. Why are you doing this? No, we don't claim to be. We never have. At the end of the day, I just put hair in the ground and I make a business of doing it. That's all I do. And, for someone to take it that way, be that. I'm not going to change what I'm doing. It's making me, it's growing my profile. It's growing my businesses. It's making my clients that come to me to get their haircut off me, makes them feel like that, their barber is doing, he's better than the next barber. He's better than, this is why I go to this barber, because he's doing all this shit, But, you cannot put yourself out there on social media and not expect to see criticism. Yeah. But it's the way you act to that criticism. If someone gives you a nasty comment, or they write you, to go out of their way to write you a personal message, and you respond back with a bite, those people are obviously hurting inside, and they want to lash out at other people. Yeah. And if you want to keep playing into those hands, like that's just fueling their fire, and they're going to keep getting more antagonized, and it's going to go boom, 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 back and forth, and the both of you walk away from that conversation pissed off. So I think step away from it, delete the comment, delete the person, get to know your life, because you don't need it. If you had a friend that was dragging you down like that, you would definitely not be hanging around them. So why have this person still be able to see your material? Get that person out of there. Yeah. Lose that follower.
Yeah.
That's my take on it.
No, totally. And obviously with criticism, I guess, then for certain people, maybe not specifically you, Mark, or Mike, is if you start to get criticized, then that could also lead to some type of insecurities as well, because now here someone's talking down about this pic or this part of you or some type of haircut, depending on what, whatever it is that you're posting, and then like, you're like, shit, like, did I really do a good job, or is this person right? And then that could lead to some type of insecurities. And I know for like me personally now, like one of my insecurities, because I'm a musician, is my voice when I sing. And, I put up some random videos of me playing some guitar or singing or whatever, doing something like that. And it does, there's a little insecurity there, but you're ready to take that criticism. And if someone tells you you suck, but most of the time it is positive, not to tap my, toot my own horn there or tap myself on the back, but, most of the time it is positive, and then that could be encouraging as well. But that's just, me personally when it comes to the insecurity part.
Yeah, bro, I think that's like, if you're not your own biggest motivator, if you're not your own biggest idol, I think if you could honestly see into my head on my opinion of myself, now it's completely different than the opinion I put across, but I'm waking up every morning being like, you're the fucking dude, you're the man, you're going to smash this fucking day, and that's it, right? Yeah. And no matter who's in this fucking room, you're going to do better than them. That's it. You have to have that. You have to be your own motivator, because you can't look for that from everyone else. I can't ring Mike every minute, every day, and be like, yo, bro, I'm what am I going to do today? What if someone gives me negative feedback? What if someone gives me this? What if and I think negativity only lasts for 10, 15 seconds. When it actually happens, it takes me to insult you, Dave. It's going to take me 5 seconds, 10 seconds to do it, and how you react to that,
right,
is that could define your whole day. Mm-hmm. So it's you have to guard yourself from negative, and I think that comes down to a lot of stuff we do on a daily basis. In my opinion, I don't read newspapers. I don't read. I don't listen to radios. I don't allow myself. I don't. Anyone who speaks negative about that, I have no idea what's going on in the world. No idea. You might call it self-absorbed or self-consumed, but that's what you have to be, because they don't put it. When do you hear good news? What goes on the radio, it's always bad news. You hear obituaries, you hear about all these terrible things that are happening all over the world, and that's the harsh reality of the world we live in. That's what sells papers. That's what sells these shows. That's So where do you find that from? Where do you find the positives? So you have to hang with people like yourselves. You have to, read audiobooks, go to events, do all these things.
You have to
but
listen
be your
to
own
the-
biggest motivator.
And you have to listen to this thing called Life podcast to stay positive too, right?
Oh, 1,000.
Shameless
Shameless
plug.
Shameless plug.
So it's interesting, man, is insecurities are a bitch, because I'm reading a book by Napoleon Hill, the late great Napoleon Hill. It's called I think it's called something about the devil. That's not a good start, huh? I'm reading a book and I don't even know the name of it. Yeah, it's Outwitting the
Think and Grow
Devil
Richer?
or something like that. Outwitting the Devil.
Didn't read that one.
Yeah, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Anyway, he talks about the two versions of ourselves, and he realized this when he was a young man, that the negative version of yourself is always going to criticize. It's always going to be negative. It's always going to come from a place of insecurity and negativity. And the other side of yourself is the one that's harder to achieve. It's harder to get to. And that other side of yourself is the positive side of yourself. And sometimes we need to, as Mark said, put away things that are negative, literally radios, whatever it is that's negative in your life, even if it's close friends, get rid of them, like you said earlier. And get yourself in a place where you're alone, where you can step outside of yourself, which sounds like some new age hippie shit, right? But in some ways, maybe that's the perspective that we need to deal with our insecurities, is to almost like this coffee cup. Like if this coffee cup was me, I set it in front of me to look at it. So you step away from yourself. You almost kill your ego and yourself for a minute, and you look at that both versions of yourself and say, which one am I going to conduct myself with today? Am I going to conduct myself with the negative version of me that's full of insecurities and fear and doubt? Because that's where insecurities stem from, is fear of rejection, fear of whatever, Or are we going to look to the other side, which is the one that Mark often lives on the other side. Mark wakes up in the morning. He literally told me one time, we woke up and we had a class to do later that day. And he was like, we are going to put our dick in this day. And I was like, shit, I didn't know this is getting sexual, but I'm down. And that's the way Mark lives. But that's he said, we are going to put our dick in this day. I was like, I didn't know this day had a vagina, but I'm down.
What the actual... Oh, yeah, what I actually said was, it's time to suck today's dick.
Oh, that's what it was. That sounds worse. I'd rather give and not take, man. It's all perspective, right? Whatever you like, whatever you're into, Dave. You're the one with the non-gargling reflex. I don't know.
Yeah. Saki. This podcast is crazy.
But on some real shit though, I think my biggest insecurity is little voices. Sometimes I do things and I have moments where the criticism and the negativity seep into my head, and honestly, for the life of me, sometimes I have no idea where it comes from. And I know we are all raised a certain way. We all go through certain experiences that are rooted deep in us. And sometimes those roots show, and they're ugly and they're nasty and they be ripped out. So at times you hear negative self-talk and you're like, even the simplest shit like a haircut or teaching a class that I've already taught, tons of classes. I've already done millions of haircuts already. And this little negative voice like, oh, you don't know how to do that. You can't do that. And it's like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, I've been doing this, like, even logically speaking, there's no fucking reason to listen to the negative voice in your head, because your past has even shown you that you're more than capable enough to do what you're going to do. I'm scared as fuck. I'm opening my barbershop here in a month or two, and I'm scared as fuck. But at the same time, the other side of me is like, you've been doing this for how long? You are literally an expert in your field, and you're scared to do something that you already know you're going to succeed in. But that little negative self-talk comes in and talks shit to you and tells you, but what if this happens? What if that? And that's all fear-based shit. We can't listen to it. We have to choose that other side. And it's got to be from yourself too. You can't expect your friend to tell you, no, man, you can do it, because it's an outside source. It needs to be an internal positivity, and it's good to have positive influences, of course, but it has to come from inside. You have to dominate yourself. You have to put your dick in it. We may have to edit that out of the podcast.
No, leave it in.
Leave it in, Dave. We'll just we'll beep one of them out. We'll beep one D. We'll leave the other D in.
Leave it there. Leave it there.
Leave the D in. So I don't know, man. I think that's all I have on insecurities. It's a good topic though, because we all battle with it, and it's something that, dude, our listeners think about. Our listeners are probably like, damn, I go through that, And I know that Mark talks to a lot of people because of the social part of our job. And
Yeah.
a lot of barbers, man, they come from insecure backgrounds. They literally are like, how do you do this? Like, how do you teach a class? How do you just travel and go to different countries? You don't even know the language and you just
Yeah.
go. And it's like, because you have to grab yourself and say, look, I can do this. Like I'm meant to do this. There's a moment of, am I going to jump off this cliff and or not? Like, you have to jump, bro. Like, if you're not going to jump and you don't put yourself in a position where your back is against the wall, then you're never going to do it. You're never going to conquer those fears.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just stepping outside that box and stepping outside that comfort zone of yours, and like you said, you'll never be able to conquer it. You aren't going to be successful if you don't take that leap and change. You know.
I think that's such a good way to put that across. When you spell out fear, FEAR, false evidence appearing real. That's what it means. And I think a lot of people, when you say that to them, like, yeah, you're right, because you have these predispositions of what you should be afraid of. Is the crowd going to react a certain way? Is your family and friends going to perceive you in a certain way? But it's all built up in your head. And normally, when you take these leaps of faith, or you stride off into the distance to do your own thing, whatever it is that you're doing, it's normally never as bad as you think it's going to be. The reaction is normally never as bad as you think it's going to be. And I think some of it comes from social media, because we have followers and fans and stuff like that on Facebook and Instagram pages and Snapchat. The whole perception of how that's, how the people, everyone's going to know about it now. People have that much shit going on in their own lives. They don't really give a fuck about what's going on in your life. There's a very small percentage that actually will take that time to be like, I'm going to comment on this, or I'm going to share this to someone else. But, something else is going to come up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're left there thinking, you have to build up all this anguish and all this self-hate in yourself. But when it comes to it, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter it's a fleeting thing that happens. And I think that's the biggest thing that everyone has is fear. There's a difference between fear and being nervous about the outcome of something. Being nervous it could mean that this thing actually means a lot to you and something that you want to achieve. It could be, Dave, you said you're a musician. It could be putting up your music on Facebook or YouTube, or doing an audition somewhere, or playing a gig somewhere for the first time, or playing it multiple times but there's a different crowd or a bigger crowd. Having a small bit of nerves, having a small bit of anxiety before it means that you care about it. It doesn't mean that something bad is going to happen. It's how you adapt to that. Mike, we get that the whole time we were doing shows together. Our first time actually on stage together was a day after we met. We'd never done a rehearsal before. You bet your bottom dollar I was nervous going on stage with a dude I met the day before to do a tag team haircut in front of like 1,000 people in Russia who didn't even speak our language.
with cameras in our faces behind a jumbo screen. That shit was, oh man. I tell you what though, the growth that I got off that, bro, and I know you probably felt this too, is you felt like $1 million after that. You felt like you could do anything in the world. When I got off that stage, I was like, bro, there's nothing I can't do, because these are the experiences that you need to put yourself in. Saying yes to the shit you're scared of. Like, I was scared to do it, but it was like, I'm here. I'm all the way across the fucking ocean. I love this guy, Mark. I think we could kill this shit. And why not do something that I've never done before? Because it's going to make me better. It's going to increase my value,
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's the 1% club. You have to be better than whatever you were doing the day before. And I think, it's true what people say, like, don't try kill yourself every day with something, that scares you. But, you should do something a little bit every day that takes you out of your comfort zone. And that's where you become comfortable in the comfort zone. That's how you make that negative a positive. I think you should always face your fears in that respect, no matter how big or small it is. Just try to face something every day that do something different.
So to wrap it up, basically it's what we're saying is, you have to grab life by the balls, or if you don't have balls for
As Trump says,
take it, step outside your comfort zone, and you're going to feel much better about yourself. You're going to be able to succeed. You're going to be able to get past that fear, whatever that is holding you guys back. So Mark, thank you for joining us, buddy. Where can everybody find you?
Ireland.
Yes, I knew that was the answer I was going to get.
Drinking a beer.
Drinking some Guinness at a pub in Ireland, right?
You can get me on my social pages. I don't use Snapchat. I'm on Facebook and Instagram. My Facebook page is Mark Gaye. That's my personal page. I also have Notorious Barbers, which is also my name on Instagram. and my fan page for my business. And I'm just about to start up my personal line of business, which is Notorious Mark. I'm also that on Facebook and on Instagram. So feel free.
Also, the Paradigm hairstyling powder.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to follow Paradigm too.
Yeah, you do. So we've just. I'm not going to jump in because I know we're about to wrap up. But
Yeah.
You can also follow my new business, which we're just about to start up, called Paradigm. It's Paradigm Barbers is the current name of what we're doing. It's obviously a barber-related product. We have a lot of things that we are going to be bringing out this year, not just product-related. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on. I don't want to say too much over the podcast.
Sure.
But if you keep an eye on my social platforms, you'll see a lot. We'll be leaking out bits and pieces over the next couple of months.
Cool. And did you say you're also on Twitter? Did I hear that?
I don't do Twitter. I don't do Twitter.
Okay, that's what's up. So yeah, everybody go follow Mark. He's got some pretty sick haircuts on that on his Notorious Barbers page.
Thanks.
So, cool.
Yeah, lots
Mike,
of knowledge too.
Mike, you got anything else, bud?
Yeah. I just want to thank you, Mark. And for you guys listening, you're probably going to want to go back and listen to this 2 or 3 times, because when Mark talks about his experiences and knowledge, you got to pay attention, because he puts a lot out there, and you could really benefit from listening to a guy like that. You guys got a huge bang for your buck today. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And please share this. We'll probably do some giveaways eventually. So please follow us on Instagram. That is TTCL Pod. Also on Twitter. We are on Facebook. Are we on YouTube? We're on YouTube?
Yes, we just.
You guys are everywhere.
Yes, we just recently started the YouTube. Yes, Spotify just went live a couple days ago. So for all you Android users, we actually had someone actually message us that said, "Why aren't we on SoundCloud?" And I was like, SoundCloud actually costs money too, and everything else already costs money. But we're staying with Libsyn. Sorry, SoundCloud users. So for you Android people that use SoundCloud, guess what? You can go to Spotify. Spotify's free. Download it. You can find our podcast there. So this thing called life.
Thanks, guys.
So anyways,
Peace.
Thank you guys. We'll catch you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.